What up? What up? What up? What it is? What it do? Know who it is? Who are you? Back again with the 22 twos. Another
You're
quick hitter. You know
what's
what it is.
popping?
I got the Bob Hope hat on. I got the Rangers in the background. Shout out to my Rangers. You know what I'm saying? Had a nice little 10-game win streak. So
Yeah,
sad they
yeah.
lost. They
Nice.
lost last night. Almost ran the table in February, but
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it up. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. You know what I'm saying? SJB, go ahead, kick us off.
Yeah, so let's get into it, fellas. There's been a lot of talk lately, stemming from the All-Star game, regular season. I was watching First Take today and literally saw Kendrick Perkins say, "We do not judge Jason Tatum on the regular season. We judge him based on what he does in the playoffs." So I wanted to talk to you guys about this ring culture narrative that's been going on for years. The media is always creating this narrative and asking, why don't the players care about the regular season? Why are they load managing and, taking games off, especially games on the road? Why aren't they taking the All-Star game dunk contest seriously? Because y'all care about nothing but rings. No All-Star MVP is gonna cure that. No regular season MVP without a ring is gonna cure that, and no regular season success is gonna cure that. We've seen Russell Westbrook average a triple double for multiple seasons. Man, we seen James Harden average over 35 and 12 a season, get MVP. Man, because he chokes in the playoffs. And now we're at a point where we're discussing these MVP candidates this season. Nikola Jokic, of course, Embiid is hurt, so he won't meet the 65 game eligibility requirement. You got Giannis and you got Jason Tatum, who's literally the best player on the best team by a margin in the standings right now, and he's not getting love as a favorite MVP candidate. He's a lot of the times he's number 5 on the media members ballot who actually are allowed to vote. So just wanted to talk to you guys about ring culture, how it's impacting the game, and how the media likes to play this two-sided narrative where they want guys to care in the regular season, but at the same time, we don't judge them by the regular season. We only judge them by their playoffs and success. So Maneuvers, I'm gonna kick it to you first. So talk to me about what you think about that. And what do you got to say?
Well, sure, I got major pushback on it. I got major pushback on it. I think players should be judged, yes, on championships, but I think greatness should not ever be discounted. I think a lot of times, you hear a lot of players talk about how hard it is to play in the league, how hard it is to score, and you've had guys, former NBA players, say the difference between me and you is greater than the difference between me and whoever the best player is. I think all these guys in the league are talented, and I think you have to give credit where credit is due. My issue with the ring culture now is that for the sake of those media members, they use how they frame it how they want to frame it.
Yeah.
It was, you got to win a championship to be considered. You got to win a championship to be considered. And if you didn't have it, then, they will put you in the Charles Barkley bucket, And now, Karl Malone, John Stockton, now it's getting so nitpicky with it. I won't say their name. I've heard several people on the network that starts with an E and ends with a N, talking about Kevin Durant. They've nitpicked it so much that, his championships don't mean as much. Okay, you create the situation where you force guys to chase a championship. They do what they need to win the championship, and then you want to then take away from the value of that championship, and then force them to then say, okay, well, I got to do it another way. And I think that's what happens, where you lose this integrity in the game in terms of what players put out as a product throughout the season. I think you lose the integrity of loyalty to a franchise, and gone are the days where a guy's going to say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to do it here. I'm not going to do it anywhere. Because they're now chasing the ring. And to be quite honest, I think in a couple of years, it's gonna be they're gonna change the goalposts again, and it's gonna have another negative impact on the product on the floor and how guys' legacies will be defined. And it's really sad to see. I really would think that people who job it is to write about this to do a better job on it. Like go ahead and hop off my soapbox now.
Darnell, I'll kick it to you. I see you shaking your head and agreeing a lot. You know, it sounds like we pretty much have three layers of basketball players in the NBA. We have those that are ring chasing for legacy. We have those that are playing hard to get a bag, and we have those that are playing hard just to get minutes and see the floor. So talk to me about ring culture and its impact on the game today and what you see on a day-to-day basis.
You know, it's weird. You got to really think about it, right? Ring culture is the progression of our society coming full-fledged, right? We have a lot of things going on. We got social media, instant gratification, microwaves, you know, all of these things. I need to get these things now. Everything needs to be done now. So when a lot of these guys, they look up to a lot of these idols, and we have to say the bar for any player in the NBA forever and probably will always be Michael Jordan, you know? So that is, you're talking about a titan that transcended culture, that transcended the sport. Jordan changed the way. He said, you know, the way how we wear basketball shorts, you know, like it was Hoochie Daddy shorts, then Jordan became the shorts. So now we have all of these guys now that are trying to like add up to that legacy. But it's tough because the media has to also take a lot of culpability for this. Because originally when guys stayed somewhere and they played, first thing they came, you have great numbers, but you just don't got a ring, you know? And I think even though I do have a lot of pushback on KD, I think KD knew what he had to do. You know, same thing with LeBron. You know, if LeBron didn't win those 4 rings, and he admitted it, he said, I needed to learn to win the right way, going to Miami, learning the culture, because you're not getting that in Cleveland. You know, he brought the Miami Heat culture to Cleveland when he came back. So now we have this weird bar that it's never stable. It always changes. It fluctuates so much. So now these NBA players are like, hey, how can I make myself set apart from the rest? Does it mean I got to team up? You know, like Dame Lillard. I mean, I think he's a great player. You know, he left Portland. They've been great for the Portland Trailblazers to win something. You know, Arvydas Sabonis, Clyde Drexler. You know, he had to go. He went with Milwaukee. So now we just have this weird bar that the media, it's created a demon that they can't control, and it's going to keep going this way. You know, unfortunately. So I think that's where we stand.
I'm glad you talk about Arvydas Sabonis and Clyde Drexler. I ain't gonna say nothing. Who are you, Matt? All right, Mad Dog. Okay.
Hey, okay. Portland, man. Portland. That's what it was.
That's going back in the days. Yeah. So we do have respected legends in Charles Barkley and Allen Iverson who made their stamp on the league without winning a ring. So Sean, talk to me about, you know, players like that and their ability to still ring bells. Their names still ring bells around league circles, around fan circles. And what, if anything, can we do to kind of get back to that grind of regular season pride, or has it gone too far?
I think it's bigger than just regular season pride. I think that it has to do with players setting the standard and earning respect for one another. That kind of matriculates to the media. Draymond Green said it best when it came to ring culture as a whole. Is like even with the situation with Jason Tatum being 5th in MVP voting. Why is that? It's because, you know, he didn't win in the playoffs. He didn't make his mark in the playoffs. The most stained memory that people remember about Jason Tatum is how he folded in the finals against the Denver Nuggets. So, I mean, he has to prove himself in the playoffs in order for him to be eligible for a regular season award.
Golden State Warriors, by the way.
Yes, thank you for the correction. Yeah. He has to, you know, prove himself in the playoffs in order to be able to have a mark for a regular season award. I think that's a problem. The biggest problem, in my opinion, when it comes to the way players are viewed and the way players are rated in the NBA nowadays, it has to do with titles. And you have to ask yourself what matters more. And the reason why you play the game is so that you can hoist the trophy at the end of the season. But at the same time, a player should not be penalized for their performance in the playoffs and what they do during the regular season because a media member doesn't think that it's good enough and it doesn't translate to the playoffs. It just doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do is, and you can see the pressure on the media beginning to cause a crumble effect. Look at Rob Lowe. He just gave up his right for media credential voting rights to be able to vote for regular season awards during the season. He's an ESPN contributor. That speaks volumes in the industry right now. There's an unfair criticism of these players to the degree where it almost seems asinine to say that somebody like a Jason Tatum is not the number one player when it comes to MVP voting. He has they have the best record in the league. Granted, he has players all around him, and me and you, FJB, we talked about this prior to stream. His performance has been more than just complimentary. He's probably going to make first team all defenses as well. But guess what? Because he didn't make his mark in the playoffs, it becomes an issue. So I think that the media needs to back off a little bit and kind of look at things on a micro level, because we're not in the playoffs yet. Look at the in-season production from players. Look at the numbers and how they're impacting the game and how it impacts the standings, so that we can make proper assessments of these players for these in-season awards.